Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we are going to be talking about a new and exciting game that is currently set to come out sometime this year. This game is called Medieval Dynasty, and if you haven't heard of it yet, welcome to the club. If you've already heard of this, what the hell? Why didn't you tell me? Was I supposed to just stumble across this game on Steam? So, all of you inconsiderate wieners aside, this game does look pretty dang cool, and right up my alley. So let's talk about what it is, and all that jazz. So as I already said, the game is called Medieval Dynasty, and it's being made by a small development team, which is vaguely European. If I were to venture my best guess, I would say Polish? In either case, they call themselves Toplet Productions, and on their website, which I will of course link in the description, their About Us section says the following: named after the mystic Toplet's Lake, which is situated in a dense mountain forest high up in the Alps. Toplet Productions was recently founded with the aim of developing and publishing computer and video games with heart and soul. As to that claim, I can't go too into it because despite seeing that they have made a few games already, I haven't played any of them. But this one looks pretty cool so far. While I am sure that some of you have probably played some of, if not all of their games, I'm also willing to bet that a good portion of you have never even heard of this company or any of their projects, so I'll briefly hit a little rundown to highlight what they are known for already. After all, as I always say, the best way to try and predict the future is by studying the past. So Medieval Dynasty will be the most recent in their series of Dynasty games. The most accurate description of these games that I've seen so far is to call them life management simulators. Quite recently, they have actually released titles in farm simulation, as well as everyone's favorite topic, lumberjack simulators. If you want to try one out and see what this game will have in store, those might be a good starting point. As far as I can tell, although most of the claims I have seen are as of yet unconfirmed, this game is set to launch in early access sometime in summer 2020. And if you just groaned at the mention of the phrase early access, trust me, you're not alone. Every time I hear about a new game that I might be interested in, I see early access and I immediately turn away. Because I know where that path leads. Lots of promises that will never be fulfilled. Half-baked mechanics. Constant bugs. Patches that end up corrupting your save. And a community that dies before it ever really gets started. But I think that this company has a pretty good track record and actually cares about the products that they release, and they want to make good games at the end of the day. So for this case, I am willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I plan to get this game as soon as it releases on PC. So from what details the devs have given so far, this game will drop you into the shoes of a medieval man or woman with basically nothing going on. The trailer sends a vaguely starting out from nowhere / running from a disaster vibe that leaves me suspecting we will be rebuilding our lives after losing everything. So playing as a peasant, you'll be able to stake a claim to an area, and essentially develop your hovel into a home and attract others to the area, and before you know it, you'll have a little hamlet on your hands. Some more development, forestry, hunting, farming, and city planning, and you'll be on your way to the verge of a full-blown medieval town. And who knows where it will lead, your own castle or manor, a giant medieval fortress, or even a fortified medieval town, or maybe even a kingdom. At this point, we don't know the extent that this game will have, but I can see lots of potential here, as this particular gaming niche has lots of opportunity and very, very little competition. As a brief summary of the planned gameplay, Medieval Dynasty is a unique mix of life simulation, survival, and strategy build-up games. You can explore a huge and living open world, build up your village, and lead your folks through the Middle Ages. A few of the features the devs have highlighted are expanding your borders by constructing buildings for your people, cultivating the land and hunting to keep your populace well-fed, planning and storing what is needed so that your people can make it through the game's harsh winters, and of course the central goal is to start / build your family and build them up to what can accurately be described as a medieval dynasty. While the premise of most of the Dynasty series have been a bright game of commercial and social success, Medieval Dynasty is firmly rooted in the survival genre. Toplets describe the game as combining the most interesting elements of several game genres: the need to survive and overcome hunger from survival games, as well as the ability to build and craft a convergent with simulation games, interacting with NPCs, taking care of them and doing quests for them, like in RPGs or of course the Sims series, and expansion of the farm into the village, management of inhabitants, and gathering resources, like in strategic games. All this set in the realistic world of medieval times, with the first-person perspective view. I think this is a good moment to pause my spiel and bust into what I'm thinking so far. From what we have seen and heard about this game, it feels like it is going to be like The Forest / 7 Days to Die, except you'll essentially be playing as Henry of Skalitz from Kingdom Come Deliverance. Only your future can be whatever you make of it. The survival elements appear to be pretty standard for survival games, having a thirst meter, hunger meter, as well as potentially weather effects, as well as tiredness. There's a dynamic day and night cycle, as well as a dynamic weather events, and of course a 4-season cycle. So there will be summer, autumn, winter, and of course spring. And these will apparently not just be for show, but will impact the way you have to do everything. If it's cold, you're going to need to wear warm clothing. If it's hot, you may need to strip it off. If it rains and you get wet, you'll need to find shelter and get dry. And who knows, maybe the wind and rain will put out your ever-important fire. That means so much for your survival in the wild world that you are trying to carve into a medieval civilization. So far, from what they've said about their game, it seems like the survival elements will be the most important thing that you have to worry about in this game. So what I hear is that you are more likely to freeze or starve to death than to get slaughtered by an invading human horde. However, in a recent dev blog that they put out, which I found while scrolling through their Steam page for this game, there will be enemies out there, and potentially some sort of combat. So this is in stark contrast with a few articles I found out there, which have said this game would have no direct combat system. So that's definitely a bunch of malarkey. Why on earth would they make a first-person survival game with hunting mechanics that they've demonstrated and an open world, and miss the opportunity to make bandits or enemy raids a feature of the game? And in that thread, I also believe they mentioned dangerous animals to be aware of. So who knows, maybe this game will include bears or wolves that we will have to keep in mind. Another feature that Toplets talked about in their recent dev post was competing with other settlements. So that means that this will not be an empty world with only your village to consider, although they did clarify that it is definitely a single-player game. There will be other settlements for you to compete with in terms of trade and growth, and he did mention that some will join you, and some will try to harm you. So I believe that this confirms that there may be certain types of combat, or potentially even battles, that we could get out of this. But I would say more likely there will be small-scale skirmishes, or perhaps only some banditry and sabotage, which could endanger your settlements through lack of food, stolen animals, or perhaps raiding of your trading caravan. I mean, if any of that stuff even exists in any way in the game, you all have to recognize that I can predict the future. I'm calling it right now. You have to acknowledge that and follow me as a prophet. Another interesting tidbit of information is that there will be story-driven quests that tie into an overarching plot. So while being super sandbox oriented, the game does have a story, and the developers confirmed that road building will be tied to at least one of these quests or missions in some way. So despite being mildly interesting, that doesn't play much into my expectations, but here's hoping some quality work goes into that story. When asked directly if there would be hostile humans such as bandits, raiders, or rival townsfolk, they responded in no uncertain terms, yes. He also confirmed that you will fight against these bad guys in defense of your settlement, and if you die, you will actually just get knocked out and the game will continue. So the game is persistent, which I find very interesting and is the preferable way to go in my opinion. Just a few more pieces of information about this game. It will have controller support, so I guess if that's something that you care about, you can play with a gamepad or a mouse and keyboard, like decent God-fearing humans. There's also a detailed skill tree for individual character development, so there will be plenty of RPG elements that will make your gameplay unique and catered directly to you. They have said that there will be unique events and decisions that you can make that will have an impact on your gameplay, so potentially some consequences for our actions. There will also apparently be a dynasty reputation system. I'm thinking something like what Mount & Blade Bannerlord has for your clan reputation. Which will trigger events with the king. I have no idea what that exactly entails, but it sounds like it could be really cool. In summary, I believe that this game has potential to be the game that holds pretty much all of my attention until the release of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I strongly recommend that anyone out there who is into medieval games, survival crafting, light strategy, or anything else I mentioned in this video, checks this game out and adds it to their wishlist, as I think it is probably going to be pretty great. And therefore, I am very excited to get my hands on it and play it till the sun comes up. So, I hope you liked this video and found this topic interesting. Let me know what you think of Medieval Dynasty down in the comment section. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.